Merry meet, Annie here. Welcome to Monday on Pagan Perspective. And I want to start with a look back just for a moment over last week because it was amazing. We started off with Rich, who's now our old timer on our subs group, and we got to meet Ariander and Liz and Charlie and Brandon and Cole. And it was a great week. I am going to be looking forward to subs week. I've subbed it to everybody's personal channels because I want to make sure if you're not called to sub on a topic and you've done one on your own channel, I am looking forward to making sure I have seen it. So welcome all, and here's to a wonderful week. We're all looking forward to more. The topic this week is something that Kara has kind of given a general title to, which is what we call ourselves. I was kind of surprised we hadn't actually been this way before, because we have, so many of us, I think all of us, been in conversations throughout YouTube and our online communities, and indeed in our local communities, about these words we call ourselves and what they might or might not mean. We have a couple different viewers that she sent to us their questions and their comments. Red Dragon wrote, It's been brought to my attention that some people believe that calling themselves pagan is an insult to the gods and to their ancestors. Because it is a propaganda word adopted from the Latin word paganus, do you feel as if the title pagan is an insult to the gods and non-Christian ancestors? Or does it matter to you? So my answer to this I'm going to use as an example of how I feel about these labels. No, it doesn't matter to me. The word pagan to me has been a call to kinship for as long as I have been following this path. It has a very healthy and powerful meaning to me of coming together with others of like mind who do many different things, but we share so much. It was a call to community, an understanding that it was about earth-based spirituality and the study of our homes, the indigenous spirituality of our area, and learning from others about what that is to them, where they live. A community builder, a very powerful word in that sense. That's not what you're going to find when you look the word pagan up in the dictionary. But it is what it means to me, so I take no offense at it. I love it. I love the word. It has brought me so many friends and new communities and groups and circles in my life. But Red Dragon's comment lets me know that there are those who do not want to be called pagan. They have a problem with the word. Well, that was news to me. I've not yet met anybody who has a problem with the word. So there's the illustration of what words can be in this interesting community we are all part of. My take on words is there are labels out there, there are words, there are things you can look up in the dictionary. And when we limit ourselves to our concept of what a word is, and even the dictionary concept of what a word is, we're limiting communication and openness and the possibility to be with and learn from others if we are going to be in community. It seems to me that inherent in that is respect for each other, including what we call each other. So many labels out there. I have been called pagan and witch and heathen. I have been called Wiccan. I have been called traditionalist. I have been called so many different things. Some of those things I call myself. Some others call me. Where I have come to be on this concept of labeling and what we, as Kara put it, what we call ourselves, which is also what we call others, is, I don't assume anymore. Someone can tell me they are a pagan or a witch or a Wiccan, and I do not take my personal definition of the word and decide that must be what they are because that is what they call themselves. That limits the possibility to explore and understand what it means to them. If they say they are a witch, I'm quite eager to learn. What does it mean to them? And my lesson was a hard-won lesson in the sense that when I first stepped outside of my local community, which was Wiccan and traditional Wiccan, and I started meeting others, either in public rites and festivals or online, most especially online, who would say, I'm a Wiccan, I would assume I knew what that meant. And I found out I did not know necessarily what that meant to them. And we limit ourselves if we don't allow the communication or the understanding to be what it is for someone. And it works in the reverse. If someone, because they know that I call myself witch or Wiccan, then decides, well, this is what she must be, well, I'm not so sure how that respectful it is in that direction either. I don't like somebody assuming they know exactly what I am, unless we have a shared vocabulary that is identical, in which case the terms can have a lot of power in that we know what they mean to us both. We're thinking the same thing. But in this community, if we want to be part of a wider community, meet others, learn from their experiences, learn what they do, what they believe in, how they live their life, then these labels, which can be very convenient, also should be that we don't presume. Our definition is theirs, and they should not be presuming that we fit their description of something. My reaction to the word, my feeling of what the word is, which is at an emotional level, not just some dictionary description of it, might not be someone else's. Black Snake Moan says, I'm new to Wicca, and I've been studying it. I've noticed that some people refer to themselves differently. Some call themselves witches or Wiccans, pagans. Is there a significant difference? I'm going to tie this right back into what I've always said. There may be a significant difference. There may not be. It's a matter of finding out what do those words, those terms mean to the people who are claiming them for themselves. Black Snake goes on to say, if I say I'm a witch, does that mean I'm not a Wiccan? If I study witchcraft, am I not studying Wiccanism? Which I love that word, by the way. There's a new word for me. Or paganism. Considering the next statement from Black Snake is please help, that's obviously very confusing to Black Snake. So it's a very serious question. It is whatever you say it is, Black Snake, and whatever you represent of it to others that you meet. If you make it clear to them what you're studying, why, what you call yourself and why, then that is what you are. And it puts the responsibility back on yourself too, to ask those questions and learn from others. What does the label they use mean to them? Jasmine wrote, I've heard a lot of people saying that you can't call yourself a Wiccan unless you're in a coven or have been initiated into a coven by a priest, priestess. What is your view on this? And Jasmine, I'm going to use this as my greatest example of why and how I arrived at my take on labels and wanting not to hold descriptions, whether dictionary or emotional, of certain labels as the true and given from Annie's perspective and then laying that over someone else. I did come up as a traditional Wiccan, and that religion was, at that time in the 70s, a religion of community. You were not solitary. You could not be a solitary Wiccan. It was about the magic you created in circle together. Who we were and who we might be as the Wicca outside of a coven was all a confusing time for me. Not for very long, thank goodness, because my own journey took me to understand the power of practicing as a solitary. But why I wanted to bring this up is there was a time in my life at which I would have been one of those who agreed exactly what you say. I still hold to the word Wicca in my personal relationship to it as a religion of community, as a very specific set of beliefs and practices that has a set definition to me. But your question, and you're asking of my view on this, brings me back to, if you tell me you are a Wiccan, I do not assume that's what it means to you. It has not meant the same to me at different points in my life. I had to evolve from it being the covened initiatory passing down of a specific set of practices to what is it then when you're practicing alone? What would I call it? What would I name it? I didn't change the name and decide I was not Wiccan, even though in my earlier years, indeed, I would have been considered something else. Life teaches you the lessons you need to know. These words can create conversation. They are a starting place. They can be a gathering place. They can be all kinds of good and powerful things. But they can be dividers. They can cause those schisms which sometimes we cannot heal from. They're about conversation to me. They are not about definition. I wish you all mirth and reverence. Merry part.